You still have some snow outside your houses today?
Yeah.
Yeah, the roads were very clear today. So hopefully it's not a problem for any of you to be able to get out of the house for anything. But it's fun to still have snow on the ground.
I don't think we're going.
Marcus, are you doing this whole class from bed today?
Cozy.
That does look cozy. Are you feeling okay, Marcus?
Hi, Archie.
Oh, Archie's visiting again.
He's going Saturday or Sunday.
Archie.
Are your grandparents out of town?
They're in Hawaii.
What?
Oh, how fun. Just for a vacation?
Yeah.
Nice.
My
Creepy?
dad said there's a volcano in Hawaii.
For us, our snow did not melt yet because we live on this side kind of, and it's kind of like a hill, so the snow doesn't really hit the sun for it to melt.
Good point. Yeah, that makes sense. That's fun to be in an area that either has a lot of shade or it's hilly so that it holds on to the snow for longer.
Yeah, but whenever we're going into the snow, sometimes like it's kind of easy to slip since it's kind of like a hill, since the snow is all there.
It's still heavy, still snow.
This is the book I'm reading.
Oh, wonderful. That is a great choice for you.
I read that book.
Well, hopefully you can finish by the end of this week, but if not, you can read it over the break and just answer a couple of questions on Bright Thinker. I hope that's a good one for you. Okay, we are still missing quite a few students. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of the not Black Beauty, but Princess and the Goblin chapter from yesterday. What did you think of Curdy, our new character? And how he's able to scare off the goblins. What do you guys think of that? Alina, you want to share your thoughts?
He's silly when it comes to like the songs like to scare the goblins away, but he's like a gentleman to Eileen. But the kissing part was not so
That's right. What did you guys think of her promise to Curdy? Oh, Ben has to leave. I think that he had a problem with that. Did anybody else feel a little grossed out by that part?
Well, I'm kind of used to
Yes, I did.
that.
Me.
Ty, what did you think of the chapter?
Well, to be fair, Curdy wants to get kissed by a girl who's 4 years younger than him.
Yeah, that's a problem with like the age.
And also, so remember how on the book report list you said any Newbery Award winners?
Yes.
Well, I really want to read this, but no Newbery Award sticker.
Yeah, that is, I'm sure, a very fun one. Could you open it up? Is it kind of comic book style, like Dogman or Captain Underpants?
No. It's basically just a picture book.
Oh.
But with like more words.
Nice. I'm sure those are great. I'm not very familiar with them. You're the first person I know to have read those. Okay, boys and girls, here's Deekshita. It's her birthday today, so everybody wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Deekshita.
Happy birthday
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear Sheeta. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha.
Yeah!
Oh, Dikshita, I hope you were able to hear that.
Good morning,
Miss Garner.
Good morning. Happy birthday, sweetheart. How's your morning so far?
It's been good.
Good. Did you have like a special breakfast or open any presents already?
Not yet. My mom's going to make waffles.
Oh, yum. That is a perfect birthday breakfast.
Thank you so much.
Well, boys and girls, Dikshita is inviting all of you to join her virtual birthday party tonight at 5:30, right? I sent the links to all of your parents so that you can join at 5:30, hopefully.
Did you send it in the chat?
5:30 p.m., that's right. Just like Marcus's birthday party.
Wait, yeah, can you send the chat?
time my class.
I have the link sent to all of your parents.
Last time Marcus's was in a class, and now Dikshita is also in a class that I'm not doing.
Okay, I'm gonna ask my mom if I can come.
Yes, please do. Ariane?
Miss Garner.
Fine.
Oh, yes, Dikshita.
So when I came to Marcus's birthday, I can't see you.
I know I wasn't able to join. I was at the gym and I thought I'd leave on time to be able to join, and I didn't. So I feel bad, but I'd love to try to join tonight. At least to log in for a few minutes to say hello and wish you a happy birthday.
At least you're staying fit. Not getting
But Marcus?
At least you're staying fit.
That's right. I'm staying fit. I'm going to the gym. That's a good thing.
I ate 3 pounds yesterday, and my stomach hasn't grown a single inch.
Oh, well, you seem like you always stay very active, Marcus. So that's probably why. You're chopping trees down, going sledding. You have a very active life.
I do tennis every day.
And tennis, excellent. And Alexander jumps constantly, according to our Google classes. So he's staying very fit as well. Yes, Tig?
This Saturday, so my mom got us this, Skylight is doing, private screenings for Christmas movies,
Mm-hmm.
and, we get to go see one, and Ben is coming.
Ben, like our Ben? Ben from class?
Yes, that Ben.
Fun. Which Christmas movie are you guys going to see?
A movie called Elf.
Oh, that's a great one. Who's seen Elf?
I've seen it. I've seen it
Oh, it's
before.
so funny.
It's really funny.
I'm in a store and I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing.
That's a good impersonation.
Decorating.
That's my favorite
Decorating.
part, when it just goes like, I'm singing inside a store.
Ariane?
Marcus, is that
Yesterday, I made so many snowballs, or mostly, actually, more than half of them are ice balls.
Oh no, I hope you're not hitting people with those ice balls.
I'll just tell you how I make them. I just get some ice. I make it into a small ball, throw it in the snow, and then make sure the snow's on it so it fools someone. And then you just need to put some ice.
Oh, that's cool, Ariane. I didn't know you were an evil genius.
LOL. Well, I won't throw it at anyone. Sure, I was just making them for fun.
Okay. Or you could
Hello,
aim it at
evil
targets
genius.
like baseballs. Just aim it at like a stop sign.
But actually, the snowballs that don't have any ice in them, I can throw at.
Good call.
I know.
Okay. Well, it looks like we are still missing but we are going to get started in class today. Would you all join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance and school motto, and then we'll get started in some activities.
I'm excited.
And saying the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement. Please join me for a moment of silence. Okay, well, let's get started on class today with some phonograms. Would you take out your whiteboard and marker? All right, we're going to do some single letter phonograms today, starting with a, aw. A, aw. Once you're done with that, please write d. 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 A, aw, and d so far. Cameras are not working very well. I see Alina doing a good job, but Alina, try to hold off on the others until you hear it so that you're actively thinking of which sound and then write the phonogram. Okay, thank you. Next, please write f. Next, write qua. Never use Q without you. Qua. Never use Q without you. Next, write, let me pull up where we're at. N. N. Then Hmm. And finally, please write a-o-oo. A-o-oo.
Miss Gardner,
Yes.
for you, my sisters, they learn a u u ua, and we say a u u ua. Which one is right?
They're both correct. A-u-u-u. Is the correct last sound, like in put or push. Does that make sense?
But my sister's teacher, Miss Wood, she says a u u ua, so I got confused.
So Samhita, they're the same sounds. I think that she's just saying it a little differently, but listen carefully to those 4 sounds. That's a good question. U, oo, and the last one is like push. Do you hear that one? Okay. So I think the most helpful word to hear that last sound in is push, because that's sort of the sound or the actual way that your body is reacting to that sound. It should be like you're pushing yourself forward. Push. Does that make sense? It's the same as the sound in like tool and book. The exact same sound. Oh, here's Harika. Those are all of the phonograms. Next, we're going to do some spelling word review. Good morning, Harika. You joined a little late, sweetheart, but we're doing some spelling word review, so take out your whiteboard and marker, please.
I accidentally overslept.
Okay. It happens. For our first word to review, please write scene, as in the scene of the crime. Then write scenery. And last one that has the 2-letter phonogram at the beginning is scissors. Scene, scenery, and scissors. Okay, check that your spelling matches mine for each of these 3 words. Scene, scenery, scissors. We're working up to a mastery test on Thursday. Remember that because of Friday being a half day and the last day before Christmas break, we will not have our test then. We'll do the test on Thursday instead. So we've still got a couple days of review. Okay. Next, please write the word difficult. Difficult. Once you're done with that, write difficulty. Difficulty, which we have a little song to help us with. Mrs. D, Mrs. I, Mrs. F, F, I, Mrs. C, Mrs. U, L, T, Mrs. Y. That spells difficulty. Okay. Check that your spelling matches mine. I just gave it away for difficulty. And if you know the little song, then that should help you out.
Actually, Miss Gardner's Mrs. C, Mrs. U, Mrs. LTY.
Okay, well, as long as we are able to spell it correctly.
Do they say Mrs. or do they say there's a?
Mrs.
Oh.
I know, kind of unusual. It's just part of the little song. Okay, next, please write Senate. And then finally, we'll write senator. Oh, this marker is staining my board. Get a different one. Okay, so Senate and senator.
Miss Gardner, I got
Yes,
the book. This is where the song is.
nice. I think the reason I do the Mrs. U, L, T, Mrs. Y is because that follows our syllable break. I think that's why I'm doing it that way. Very cute. Okay, last two words are Senate and senator. Please check that your spelling matches mine for those two words. And I'm having to pin each of your screens. So if you held it up but then put it back down, hold it up one more time so I can see them. Unfortunately, the internet does not work as well here at school, but I'm taking some time to pin each of your screens, so please hold it up. Harika, I am unable to see you at all, sweetheart. I need you to angle the camera differently so that I can see you working. It's pointed at the ceiling right now. I want to be able to see your face the whole time. Can you bring it down a little bit more still? Because I'm only able to see the top of your head, not actually your face. Little more still. Little bit more. I want to see your whole face in the camera. Okay, and hold up your board, please. Senate and senator. Harika, sweetheart, let me see what you have on your board so far. Harika, please hold up your board so I can see what you have so far, even if you're not done. That's all? Sweetheart.
Whenever I'm done.
What's that?
I erase it whenever I'm done with the word.
Okay. Harika, we've got to, especially when you come into class late, we need to hop right into what we're doing and make sure that you're following along. In the future, please keep all of those words on your little whiteboard so that I can see your spelling. This is a way to make sure that we are getting prepared for the test. Okay. Good practice to continually do this. Okay, this is all for our review today. Josiah, it looks like you used an earlier of her, which it sounds like at the end of senator, but we think to spell senator. It's an unstressed syllable. Let's make that one little change. And boys and girls, same as what I said for Harika. Try to keep all of those words on your board. They should all fit if you stack them up neatly so that as I'm going through, I'm able to see all of your words. Okay, take out your binder at this time, please. And we're going to go over some words from a new lesson. And most of the words from the lesson today go along with history. Some of them we've even done a little spelling lesson on before, as we've done some ancient Rome words. So we'll see what those are in just a moment. Take out your binder. Okay, boys and girls, our first word from today's lesson is ancient. Would you say ancient? Like ancient Rome. Ancient means very, very old. Okay, we've heard this word a lot in our ancient Rome study, but you've also learned about ancient Greece. And in first grade and kindergarten, did you learn about any other ancient empires? Does anybody remember? Sahanasri, do you remember an ancient empire you learned even before second grade? I know it was ancient Greece in second grade.
I wasn't here in kindergarten.
I'm just curious which other ancient empires you've learned about.
I remember. So there was, you learned about Mesopotamia and Babylon in first grade. We also, I mean, we kind of talked about ancient Egypt in second grade too.
Okay, good. So ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, Babylon, and Greece are the main empires you've learned about, and then Rome for this year.
Yeah.
So our word today is ancient, which means very, very old, just like all of those empires that are thousands of years old. Usually if you hear that word ancient, it doesn't have a specific number of years old that it is, but it tends to be thousands of years old. Okay. Ancient uses the short letter sh phonogram. Would you sound out the word with me? Ancient. 2 syllables. In the first syllable, what sounds do you hear? A, n. 2 sounds. In the second syllable, and that's, by the way, a, saying its name, and it's kind of unusual, but it is saying its name even when followed by a consonant. I'm going to look at the manual to see the explanation. It's just because the accent is on the first syllable, which affects the vowel. So it's very unusual that this happens, but A is just saying its name. Okay, ancient. What are the sounds in the next syllable that you hear? Sh, a, n, t. 4 sounds. It's all basic code. The sh, once again, though, is sh, short letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one. Please write ancient. And I know many of you already know how to write this word. Ancient. Syllable break. Sh, t, ancient. Sorry about that. Ancient. Okay, cross it out and rewrite it if you made any mistakes. Josiah, would you unmute yourself and talk through what markings we have in this word?
First syllable is basic code.
Although we say A, so we're going to do what to our a-a-ah?
We're going to underline it.
That's right. Okay, next syllable, what markings?
And then for the what letters, we put an underline.
Underline sh, short letter sh, used at the beginning of syllables after the first one.
And then we put a thinking cap over the E.
Ancient. Let's stick with what our manual says on this one. And I do think that oftentimes we say an I sound there. We're going to stick with what our manual says, though, and no thinking cap on that. Even though it does kind of say an I sound, ancient, depending on the way you pronounce the word. Thank you, Josiah. This word is an adjective because it modifies a noun, like an ancient empire. Okay, now speaking of empires, that's what will connect to our next couple of words. Okay, so empire and emperor are two words we've heard a lot. Now, an empire is like ancient Rome was. It's more than just a single country. It tends to be a country that has taken over a lot of other countries as well. So like Rome, they had some land in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, all across different continents even. So they were truly an empire. Okay, for the word empire, I know many of you already know how to spell this word. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like I know how to write empire. Yeah, pretty simple. Let's go through the syllables quickly. Empire, 2 syllables. M, first syllable is basic code. And the second syllable, why does I say its name?
Silent final E.
Good. Silent final E, job number 1. Empire. Please pick up your pencil and write empire. Empire. Syllable break. Silent final E. Job number 1. Empire. Check that your spelling matches mine and make corrections if you need to. Cross it out and rewrite it if there's any mistakes. Okay, first syllable is basic code, so let's just skip over to our second syllable. How do we mark it? Good job, Josiah. I says its name because of silent finally. Job 1. And the is part of the vowel consonant vowel pattern. Sorry if I'm not saying anybody else's names with this. A lot of cameras are not working for me, but I can see Josiah well. I can see, oh, now I'm seeing a little bit more well. Arshab, you're the only one not working for me right now, and I think you might have your camera off. You should not ever have your camera off in class, bud. An empire is a noun. We're going to just stay right on this page for emperor. For emperor, we have the or of her, and the last syllable, emperor, has the phonogram or in an unstressed syllable. Okay, so emperor. Please pick up your pencil and write emperor. M, syllable break, P, syllable break, or. Emperor. Okay. Emperor is how we say this, so we're going to underline the or of her and underline in thinking cap the phonogram or. Okay, boys and girls, one last word, and this one does not connect at all to our ancient Rome study, but let me know if you think of a way that we could connect it. Our next word is a piece. Would you say a piece? As in, you will all receive a piece of cake, a piece. Or I shouldn't have said a piece to begin with. Each person will have 2 pencils apiece. That means basically for each person. Okay, that connects to a lot of our multiplication word problems because in multiplication word problems, we want equal groups always. And so when we use the word apiece, it has to do with equal little groups, 1 for every person. Anybody connected to our ancient Rome study since all of the other words are ancient Rome words? How could we connect a piece to ancient Rome? Alexander, do you have an idea?
When he said a piece of cake, that reminded me of something. Everyone will receive a piece of Rome.
Oh, everyone will receive a piece of Rome. Trying to think of when that ever happened, but that would be a way to make it into a sentence together. How about the emperors assigned? No, I can't think of that. Anyway, now I don't know if we can connect this to Rome, but it does connect well to multiplication. So a piece. Now a piece is a piece. Those are just the 2 words that are joined together in this word, a piece. Okay? And goes along with that meaning of basically everyone gets a piece of something. We say a piece to describe that. Okay, in our word, what are the syllables? A piece, 2 syllables. In our first syllable, A just says its name in an open syllable. And for the second word, piece, what are the sounds? P, E, S, 3 sounds. E is E-I, piece of pie. Oh, of course it's a E-I, piece of pie, because piece is the word. And this is kiss, saying its second sound because of a silent final E. Please write a piece, which we think to spell a piece.
Miss Gardner,
Yes.
did ancient Romans ever have like banquets where kings from other kingdoms come and they all eat?
Oh, very good question. I bet there were some banquets at times.
Then we can say the king cut a piece for every single king.
Yeah, that would work well. All of the kings had a piece of the dinner at the banquet.
Miss Gardner, I think I know one.
Okay, Kruthi, let's hear one more.
But it's kind of related to Pompeii. Did the scientists find every piece of Pompeii?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. For this word, we use it interchangeably with words like each or every. Like we sold the lemonade for 10 cents a piece, or 10 cents each. By the way, emperor is a noun. I forgot to put that one. Okay, let's write a piece. A, syllable break. P, E, S, silent final E. A piece. Okay. For our markings, we say a piece. So how do we mark our first syllable? We say a piece. How do we mark it? Good job, Alina. Good job, Samhita. Saha, Nasri, and Kruthi. Thinking cap on that A-A-A. Over here in our second syllable, piece, we have E-I, piece of pie. The backwards phonogram. And over here, says a k. This is our k, saying its second sound because of a silent final E, job 3. This word is an adverb. Now you can use these separately, like everyone gets a piece of pizza, or when you join them together like this, it means each or every. For example, the Pokemon cards are $5 a piece. Or that probably is about what it is for a set of them, but a piece means for each one. Time for a dictated sentence at this time, and let's make it about the decline of Rome, which we've been learning about. Now, this is technically from last week, but what were some of the reasons for the decline of Rome? Let me see if you guys can think of what it's going to be for our dictated sentence today. Samhita, tell me one reason for the decline of Rome.
Soldiers were fighting civil wars and they didn't get paid for months or years, so they started stealing.
Yeah, having to do with the soldiers, that the soldiers were not paid and they were in civil wars with each other. What was another reason for the decline of Rome? That's not the one that I'm looking for quite yet, even though that is one of the reasons. Alexander, what's another reason for the decline of Rome? Yes, you are.
Am I muted? Okay, so another reason is because of the
Excellent.
barbarian
Attacks. And since the army was so weak, they couldn't defend themselves from those outsiders because they were busy fighting each other. Okay, that's still not quite what I'm looking for, though, for our sentence.
I
Risha,
think I'm related to a barbarian.
do you have an idea of another reason for the decline of Rome?
The emperors for not behaving good in their own empire.
That's right, the emperors. Wait, say what you were going to say?
The emperors were selfish because they wanted more power.
That's right. The emperors were being very selfish. They wanted more power. Marcus, did you have something to add to that about the emperors?
People were killing the emperor for their power.
Yeah, there were people plotting to kill the emperors, similar to what we saw with Julius Caesar, in order to gain power for themselves. The word we used for that was corrupt. Do you remember hearing that word? Corruption in the empire meant that there were a lot of people plotting against each other for more power. All right, so our sentence is about that and about the spelling words that we've had. So please repeat after me. The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. I know that's kind of a longer one, but keep in mind what it's talking about because it's just what we were discussing right now. The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Would you say that, boys and girls? The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Okay, please pick up your pencil and write it.
Miss Carla, can you say the sentence again?
Yes, certainly. The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Or we could have used descend instead of decline, but that would have been good since that was one of our spelling words. We wouldn't usually use that word in this kind of sentence, but it does also mean going down, just like decline means going down.
Miss Garner, can you please say it again?
Yes, of course. The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Keep the whole sentence in your mind instead of thinking of just words at a time. Keep that whole sentence in your brain. Once you're done with that, you can write a sentence of your own. Could have a lot of good sentences using the words from today. Some history sentences, or you can make kind of a multiplication sentence with the word apiece. Yes, Josiah?
What does a piece mean again?
Means like every, as in, actually, let's make it into a division sentence. It could be something like the 20 students were in groups of 4 apiece, meaning there were 4 people in each of the groups.
Can I share my sentence?
In just a minute, Rishith. Harika, I don't see you at your spot, sweetheart. Are you there? I should see you in front of the camera this whole time, sweetheart. Okay. Can I see your paper so far?
Can I go to the bathroom? It's urgent.
Okay, just 1 minute, Harika. Can you hold up your paper so I can see what you've done so far? I see your spelling words and sentence. Okay, I'm having a hard time seeing it. Can you try to face the camera with it? It's angled. Can you try to hold it up straight to the camera?
There's no space.
Just take it out of that binder and hold it straight up to the camera. Good. Okay, can you finish writing the sentence and then you can go to the bathroom? The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Can you say that back to me, Harika? So that keep the whole sentence in your brain. The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Okay. So as soon as you're done with that, Harika, you can go to the bathroom. But let's, in general, try to wait until good times to go. Okay, I'd love to hear some sentences you created. Tig, would you share yours?
The ancient emperor who is still alive sold 1,000,000-year-old lemons from his city that was destroyed by cute little puppies.
That is quite a story. Okay, let's hear one from Josiah next. 1,000,000-year-old lemons sound pretty disgusting.
Ancient Rome had 4 empires in a piece.
Oh, great use of that. Ancient Rome had 4 emperors apiece. Now, apiece has to do with being in lots of different areas so that like each empire had that. So keep that in mind with it. Yes, Rishith?
What's after this?
Okay, sweetheart, that's why you need to, so can you unmute yourself for right now? Try to keep this whole sentence in your mind and repeat the whole thing back. I want you to picture what's happening here. That's what we should do for dictated sentences. Okay. The ancient Roman Empire started to decline because of corrupt emperors. Would you say it back to me?
Because the ancient Rome emperor started to decline because of corrupt emperors.
Okay. Corrupt, which means that was from our history book. It means that they were like kind of evil and trying to plan against each other.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's hear Rishith's, and then I'm going to present my screen so we can check that all of those words are spelled correctly.
Ancient Rome had 2 a piece of land. It was East empires and West. They had 2 emperors.
Nice. Okay, and I also just thought of a way that we could really use a piece well in a Rome connection. We could say that there were 2 senators apiece for different provinces. And we have 2 senators apiece for each of our states based off of ancient Rome. Okay, here is our sentence. The ancient Roman empire started to decline because of corrupt. This is a vocabulary word that you should have had in your notes, corrupt emperors. Just add an S to make it plural. Okay. Check that your spelling matches mine for all of those. And when you're done with that, we're going to take out our well-ordered language workbook and have a short little review. We're finishing up our well-ordered language chapter on interrogative sentences, and we're going to read some short little poems today.
Miss Good, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Harika.
Can we write our sentences in the chat?
Yes, I would love to hear a few more sentences. So I'm going to turn on the chat feature so that you can write it. Okay, please turn to page 213 in your well-ordered language workbook. Okay, boys and girls, we've got some nursery rhymes here that you are probably quite familiar with some of them. I think the Robert Barton's one here is probably new for you guys. Now, this is the very last part of our well-ordered language book. We are going to be using the note section tomorrow for a few interrogative sentences to review. But if you take a look a little ahead in this, you'll see this is our very last chapter. All of these other pages are some poems and stories that we've learned. There's biographies about the authors of different stories and poets that we've learned about, including George MacDonald, who's the one who wrote Princess and the Goblin that we're currently reading. So it tells you a little about him. And as we know, there's also the lyrics in the back of this. Now, when we come back from Christmas break, we are going to start Book B. Book 1B. You're going to still have all of the song lyrics in the back of that one, of the ones that we've learned so far, but we're going to learn a bunch of new ones as well. Actually, let me double check on that to make sure it is still going to have all the old lyrics. Yes, it will. Book B has all of your old lyrics, plus all of the lyrics to the new songs we're going to learn in second semester, including prepositions. That's going to be the main focus. We're going to learn about prepositions, a new part of speech. Okay, so how many of you have heard of this first one, Cackle, Cackle, Madam Goose, this nursery rhyme on page 213? Maybe you've heard of something slightly different Does it make you think of something else, another story maybe you've heard before? Madam Goose sounds a little bit like, anybody know? Rishith?
Dr. Goose.
Dr. Goose? I've never heard of Dr. Goose. Or Duck, Duck, Goose, is that what you were saying?
Yep.
Oh, Duck, Duck, Goose, yes. I was thinking Mother Goose. Who knows the story of Mother Goose? Not that one either? Rishith has? Alina? Okay, that's kind of a kid's story, not a nursery rhyme so much, but this is kind of a variation of that called Cackle, Cackle, Madam Goose. Actually, Mother Goose is traditionally a nursery rhyme too. Anyway, so this one and many other traditional nursery rhymes have a lot of interrogative sentences that start off with helping verbs, just like we've been seeing in well-ordered language. Okay, we've got Cackle, Cackle, Madam Goose, Robert Barnes, which connects well to the poem we're learning about, For Want of a Nail. And then finally, one that I think all of you are more familiar with, Ba Ba Black Sheep. Who's heard of this one? Maybe you've never heard the other two, but you know Ba Ba Black Sheep. Okay. Dikshita, would you read the Cackle, Cackle, Madam Goose poem for us and tell us what interrogative sentences you spot?
Cackle, cackle, Madam Goose, have you any feathers loose? Truly I have pretty fellow, have enough to fill a pillow. Here are quills, take one or two, and make from each pop gun or pen.
Very.
Have you any feathers loose?
Good. Have you any feathers loose? And that's actually the only one. But in the next line as well, truly have I also shows that pattern of helping verb before the subject, which a lot of nursery rhymes end up doing. So Cackle, Cackle, Madam Goose. Would anybody like to read the Robert Barnes poem, which connects really well to our poem For Want of a Nail? Krithi, would you read this one for us?
Robert Barnes, fellow fine, can you shoe this horse of mine? Yes, good sir, that I can, as well as any other man. There's a nail and there's a prod, and now, good sir, your horse is shod.
And shod means has horseshoes on. So it's just a little nursery rhyme about putting horseshoes on a horse. Okay, and finally, Ba Ba Black Sheep, the one that, oh, and actually, Kruthi, did you see any interrogative sentences in this one?
Oh, there we go. Can you shoe this horse of mine?
Excellent. Can you shoe this horse of mine? Starting with a helping verb, then subject, then predicate verb, and it ends with a question mark, so we know that's an interrogative sentence. Okay, last one, Ba Ba Black Sheep. Okay, I would love for Arshab to do this one for us, and everybody else say it along with him. Arshab, would you unmute yourself? Oh, no. Okay. I'll have Saha Nasri do this one for us. Could you unmute Saha Nasri?
Bob, Bob, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, yes, Mary, have I 3 bags full, one for the master, one for the dame, but none for the little boy who cries in the lane.
Very good. Okay. I've heard of it a little bit differently than this one. Has anybody else heard of it a slightly different way? Ty, you have 2, Saha Nasri? I always heard it, yes, sir, 3 bags full. Has anybody heard of it that way? That's the way I grew up hearing it. And then one for the master, one for the, I'm trying to think of what they said instead of that. Yes, Ty?
The one I'm most familiar with is Bob, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, and one for the little boy. Who I can't remember the last part, but I know it was what one. Oh yeah, who lives down the lane.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm pulling it up and it's the same as this, except for the yes, Mary, have I 3 bags full. So that part changes to yes, sir, and it sounds like most people say it that way. Anyway, what are some interrogative sentences in this one? And I think that they've gotten rid of this one and changed it over time because the Mary, as you can see, is like a surprising interjection, like, wow, yes, Mary, have I? But it probably is just confusing to most people. Okay, what interrogative sentences do you spot here? Rishith, can you tell us?
Have you any wool?
Have you any wool? Good. Starts with the helping verb, then subject. Actually, that's going to be used as a linking verb, which we haven't gotten to yet, but very similar to what we've been doing. Okay, boys and girls. Now, the one on page 213 about Robert Barnes shoeing a horse connects well with our new poem on For Want of a Nail. Let's go ahead and review that together. This is not one you'll be doing recitations on, but we are going to do it just for fun, some recitations of that poem. Okay, now keep in mind, picture what's happening throughout this poem. We start with one little loose nail. Now, what happens because of one little loose nail? Rishith, do you remember?
The whole kingdom was lost.
Eventually, the kingdom is lost. That's right. Now, who remembers what happens because of one little loose nail? What happens directly after that? Marcus?
The horse was lost. Then the rider. Then the war. Then
so close. Okay, let's go from something very small and it gets gradually bigger and bigger. So for want of a nail, the shoe was lost. You say that part with me? For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. Shape. For want of a shoe, what gets lost?
A horse gets lost.
Good. And then for want of a horse, what happens next?
The rider gets lost.
The rider gets lost. Well, it's kind of a cowboy rider, but we can mime it that way. So for want of a shoe, the horse gets lost. For want of a horse, the rider gets lost. For want of a rider, what happens?
The war was lost.
Almost. The battle. Now, one battle is part of a bigger war. So for want of a horse, or sorry, for want of the rider, a battle could be lost. And finally, this is the biggest one of all. For want of a battle, one single battle could mean what?
The kingdom was
The
lost.
kingdom was lost, exactly. Okay, so it goes from small to bigger and bigger and bigger. Would you help me out? Let's start with just a little nail. And then because of that one little nail, it's possible that a whole kingdom could be lost. Okay, repeat after me. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. Crazy, isn't it? Okay, who would like to give it a shot? Who wants to try for want of a nail? And I'm not going to present it for you to follow along. I want you to just think through going from smallest nail to the big kingdom. How does it progress? Okay, so you can try it out.
For want of a nail, by
Anonymous. We actually don't know the poet's name, so you can just say anonymous.
Anonymous. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a shoe, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. All for the want of a horseshoe nail.
Nicely done, Samhita. Okay, who else wants to try it out? Ben, would you like to try? Ben, can you try it out for us?
Okay. What was it called again?
For want of a nail.
For want of a nail by Anonymous. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For a want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For the want of a rider, the battle was lost. For the want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. All for the want of a horseshoe nail.
Perfect, Ben. You got it absolutely right. Every part of it. Great job. Okay, let's just do one more and then other people can do it for the next couple of days. We'll continue practicing it. Okay, let's finish with Dikshita, birthday girl.
For want of a nail by Anonymous. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of the shoe, the horse was lost. For want of the horse, the rider was lost. For want of the rider, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. All for the want of a horseshoe nail.
You got it. Great job, Dikshita. So interesting. I love that it goes progressively from the tiniest of things that could go wrong, just a little nail, and it truly could make all the difference because there's a domino effect. Have any of you ever seen dominoes lined up where you just tip one over and it starts to tip all the others over? Okay, Tig, your excitement has makes me anxious to hear you. So we're going to finish with you, actually. And everybody else take out their orthography notebooks and a few new index cards. Okay, Tig, I want to hear yours next. We can't hear you, Ty. You're muted. Okay, boys and girls, this is not a time to speak nonsense in there, in the chat. I'm going to turn off the chat.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
For want of a horse and nail by Anonymous. For want of a nail the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe the horse was lost. For want of a horse the rider was lost. For want of a rider the battle was lost. For want of a battle the war was lost. For want of a war the kingdom was lost. All for the want of a horse and nail.
Great job. You added an extra line in there about a war, which actually makes a lot of sense. I think that would make even more sense. Okay, boys and girls, we are going to be learning a new Latin word today. So take out some index cards. Today's word means word, just like the Greek one we learned last week, logos. So we learned the Greek word for sweetheart. You cannot unmute yourself without permission. That's been happening consistently. Can you try to work on that, sweetheart? Thank you. So we learned the Greek word for word, which is logos. Today, we're going to look at the Latin one, which is, it looks like verbum, but we pronounce it verbum. Where is the boom? Verbum. Can you all say verbum? In Latin, the V is pronounced as a W, and U makes the second sound oo. Verbum is our word. But we write it like this. Verb, with a red border, because it is a Latin word. Now, I bet quite a few of you already can tell me one of the derivatives. Who thinks they know a derivative of verbum? If it means word. Maybe you're already thinking of a few different derivatives. Samhita?
Verb.
Excellent. Verb. Okay, so verbum means word. Now we have learned about verbs since the beginning of our well-ordered language unit practically. The word verb comes from this. A verb is the action word in a sentence. Verb, for the definition, we'll write the action word in a sentence. Now, can anybody think of another grammar-related derivative? It also is something we've learned about in well-ordered language. Emma, do you have a guess? Where is Emma? Aryansh, do you have a guess?
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay, Emma. Okay. Do you have another guess as to a derivative of verbum that connects to well-ordered language? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll get to you for another question today. Arianch,
Adverb.
adverb. Great job. Now, an adverb is a word that modifies a verb. I'll write these definitions in the chat as well. Adverbs come from this word as well. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb. Adverb. Okay, I think that maybe somebody can come up with at least one more, though, of the derivatives that we're going to learn about. Now, it's not a well-ordered language connection, but can anybody think of another derivative for this Latin word, where boom? Dikshita, do you have an idea?
Is it boom?
No, good guess. It's not boom. Think more about the verb part of it. Rishit?
Verb.
No, we already did verb. Verb is a derivative. We already did adverb as well. Anybody else have a guess? What about proverb? Has anybody heard of proverbs? Now, a proverb is a wise saying. There's a book of the Bible called Proverbs filled with wise sayings from a famous wise king of Israel, Solomon. And there are ancient proverbs in all cultures. For example, some ancient proverbs are written by Ben Franklin for some of the American ones that we have, like early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Or he's a fool that makes his doctor his heir, or he that falls in love with himself will have no rivals. Those are some of the proverbs from Ben Franklin's almanac. We just learned about an almanac yesterday too. So proverbs are wise sayings. Proverb. Pro means forward, and sometimes it can mean good. So it's like good words, basically. Wise sayings. A proverb is a wise saying. Oh, Tig. Excellent. Can you tell us what that is?
It's just a little thing. So this year, our church, we basically don't do it right now because of coronavirus, but every third grader there gets like they get like the kids Bible plus it's basically the real Bible with a few like things telling you about it, but they also gave you one of these which just tells you about the books.
Nice. So on the back of it, does it tell you a little about the Book of Proverbs?
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us what it says?
Says the Book of Proverbs, author Solomon, chapters 31, theme, respect God and allow him to give you wisdom and make wise choices. Teachings include trust God, seek wisdom, know knowledge and compassion, reject laziness, revenge, idle talk, and foolish acts.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ty. Yeah, there are a bunch of wise sayings that are good for people to follow along with, kind of like our honor code, just talking about the sort of some rules to live by and wise sayings that tell us about life and about how to live a good life. Sometimes you might see them, ancient proverbs in like also fortune cookies. Those are a lot of the ancient Chinese proverbs that you might find with some wise sayings as well. And a lot of proverbs are pretty similar across different cultures. Okay, once you're done with all of those 4, you can put your root cards away. We'll do a few more tomorrow as well. And we are going to finish up our literacy time with our orthography notebook. We've got just a short math today as we're going to focus on just going over the answers from yesterday's review and getting prepared for tomorrow's test. Okay, so please take out your orthography notebook. And we're on page 50 for lesson 49 today. Okay, please write the word ancient first. Ancient. Then write empire. Once you're done with empire, please write emperor. And finally, a piece. Okay, check that yours match mine. And once you're done, you can close up your orthography notebooks. Since we're a little short on time, we're not going to do any sorting today. Once you're done with these 4 words, please take out your math notebook where you should have done your work from yesterday. Thumbs up if you felt like the work yesterday was fairly easy. There were just a few problems posted on Bright Thinker to do on notebook paper. If you felt good about those problems, then you should feel really good about the test that you're going to be taking tomorrow. But I want to go over the answers to them and just clear up anything that might have been confusing or difficult. Okay, and Deekshita, I see that you've got a thumb sideways. Thank you so much for letting me know about that. You can let me know which of these problems you had maybe a more difficult time with, and we'll go over the answers and hopefully make it easy. Okay.
I think, like, for me, the difficult one is like the 7th problem.
Okay, good to know. We'll quickly go over the answers to the first 6. Those are all just simple multiplication. Then numbers 7 and 8 were word problems that needed to have a bar model. It makes sense if those were a little bit harder. Did anybody feel the same as Deekshita, that they had an easy time with them until it got to the word problems? Okay, we'll spend a little bit more time on those word problems then. That makes sense. Okay, I am going to have my screen presented to go over the correct answers on notebook paper, and I want all of you to have your notebooks open to those 8 problems. How many of you did it in your math notebook? If it wasn't in your math notebook, maybe it was on notebook paper in your binder, and you should be able to find that pretty easily. Okay, so I'll call on some volunteers to go over each of the answers, starting with number 1, 346 times 4. Alina, please share your answer.
Okay, yeah, so first the 4 times 4 is 16, and 6 times 4 is 24. 24 plus 5 equals 25, and 5 in the tens place. 3 times 4 equals 12. 12 plus 2 equals 14, which equals to 1,456.
I think that you wrote down the number wrong. I think you wrote 364 instead of 346.
Oh man, I always do that. I have to stop doing
That's
that.
okay, sweetheart. Okay, I think that you did the steps correctly, but you wrote down the number wrong. Now, if that was on the test, unfortunately, it would be automatically wrong. So make sure for tomorrow that you really double check what you're writing down, okay? On the test tomorrow, you will have some problems where you just write the answer in BrightThinker. So write it on notebook paper to do your work and double check that you have written down the numbers correctly. So
yeah, my mom.
Alina, that's okay. That happens all the time. It's understandable. Could I have somebody else go through their answer for this one though? 346 times 4. Aryansh?
6 times 4 is 24, so 4 goes on the bottom, 2 gets regrouped over the 4. Then 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2, that's 18, so 8 goes on the bottom, 1 more is 13, so 3. So then it's 13 on the bottom. So the answer is 1,384.
Excellent. That's correct. 1,384. If you made any mistakes, this is your time to correct it. Now moving on to number 2, 269 times 2. Ben, can you tell us your answer?
What page was it again?
These were 8 individual problems that I put in BrightThinker, so it should be just on notebook paper or in your math notebook. Okay. If you can't find it right now, just tell me what the steps are in solving number 2, 269 times 2. Ben, you're muted again. Could you unmute yourself?
9 times 2 equals 18. So 8 there and 1 up there. 6 times 2 equals 12 again.
Was that a toy?
Well, to be fair, Mom, well, actually, I brought it down because Miss Gardner, she talked about Proverbs.
Hi, you're unmuted.
It's okay, Emma. I'm getting him. Okay, Ben, you can keep going.
And 6 times 2 is 12.
Plus that 1.
Equals 13.
We're going to regroup that 1. And what's the last step?
And 2 times 2 equals 200 times 2 equals 4. 400 plus
Mhm.
that 100 equals 500.
Excellent. And it's okay if you just talk about the digit, but I'm so glad that you're thinking through the place value. That's great.
Thank you.
So 538, correct, Ben? Who got the same answer? Excellent job, if so. Okay, for number 3, Josiah, could you tell us what to do with 8 times 60? And we can do this just like that. We don't have to stack our numbers for this one. Okay, Josiah, what's the answer?
0 times 8 is 0. And 6 times 8 is 48. So the answer is 480.
Excellent. Yep, you can think of it as 0 times 8, which is an automatic 0, and 8 times 6 is 48. Or you can just think of multiplying these and then adding a 0. Next, 4 times 300. Ty, can you share your answer?
So 4 times 300. Okay. Okay, found it. So 0 times 4 equals 0. And then 0 times 0 again would be 0. And then 4 times 3 equals 12. So I put 1 for the thousands and 2 for the hundreds. So the answer is 1,200.
Excellent. You can write it out like that, or if tomorrow for the test, oh, I'm sorry, you can't see this. If tomorrow for the test, it's easier for you to write it on the side like this, stacking numbers, and you're literally thinking 0 times 0 is 0, writing it out that way. Feel free to do it that way if you would prefer. Okay. Excellent job. So you can do it mentally for these if you'd like to, or write it out. The last one, I would say you should write out though. If there is not the case of it just being zeros at the end of it with multiples of 10, we should write it out like this. Marcus, can you tell us the answer to 532 times 4?
Two times 4 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 2 is 10. So then it would be 1,000.
So Marcus,
608.
this 3 is going to be multiplied times the 4. We're going to multiply each of the digits on top times 4. Okay, so can you try the 3 again?
Three times 4 would be 12. So then
Good.
Add a 1 above the 5.
Excellent.
And that would become 6. So then
well, remember to multiply and then we add the extra. So don't think of this whole thing as 6. Think of it as 5 times 4 and then add your 1.
It would be 20.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would be 21, which would lead to 2,106.
2,128.
28.
Yes. Okay. So Marcus, I think it might be good for you to do a little bit more practice of problems like this before the test tomorrow. And you could just create some random problems, or we're going to do some in the workbook today. So remember that we multiply each digit on the top times this one at the bottom. So it's 2 times 4, then 3 times 4, then 5 times 4. Okay? You're almost there, so hopefully a little bit more practice today will make you prepared for the test tomorrow. Okay, finally, number 6, last one before we get to the word problems, says 3 times 5 tens. Now, 3 times 5 tens is the same as 3 times what? 5 tens is the same as what, Ariansh?
50.
50, correct. So 3 times 50, or 3 times 5 tens equals what, Harika?
So 3 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 3 is 15. So our total answer is 150.
Correct. Good job, Parika. Okay, finally, I'm going to just go through the correct answers to 7 and 8. Okay, so problem 7 is about school A having 452 students. School B has twice as many students as school A. Twice means 2 times as many. So for number 7, we should have just 2 parts to this. Each of the parts is equal to 452. So we can multiply 452 times 2 to get the answer. 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 2 is 10, 4 times 2 is 8. We add that 1 to be 904. That is how many students there are. And as an answer sentence, we could say something like, School A. Oh my goodness. I typed that in wrong. I put how many students does school A have? Oh my goodness. And I gave the answer. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. I gave the answer away to you. But I hope some of you still did this work. I mistyped it. I meant to say how many students does school B have? Did anybody catch that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was silly. But it should be 904 in school B. Great job, Arianj. Thank you for still doing that correctly for all of you, figuring out what I meant to say. School B has 904 students, is what it should be asking.
I did that because I looked at it and it made no sense, so I did that.
Thank you. Sorry, I just made the mistake of writing the wrong school. School B is what we want to solve for. It has 904 students. Yes, Deekshita?
For the problem for 8 times 60, put 6 times 60. I saw that in the computer.
No, on Bright Thinker, it's 8 times 60.
Oh.
So it's okay if you wrote it down differently, but that's what it shows in Bright Thinker. I've got it pulled up right now. Okay, sorry about that mistake, boys and girls, for number 7, but I was looking for school B. Hopefully you still did the work for that one. Okay, finally, number 8. There are 5 parts to this one because it's 5 days that some caramel apples were sold. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw 4 lines to get 5 parts. Each part is equal to 245. So we multiply 245 times 5. And what is the answer? How many caramel apples were sold in all 5 days? Alexander?
So could you read the problem again?
Okay, Alexander, it should be in your notebook and you're just following along. Do you have this problem in your notes from the work from yesterday?
I can't find it.
All right. Now just tell me 245 times 5. Let's walk through how to solve it.
Let me write that down since I can't find my paper. 245 times 5. Oh. 5 times 5 equals 25. So you put the 5 right here and add on the 2. And then 4 times 5 equals 20 plus 2 equals 22. Put the 2 there and add another 2. 2 on top. And then 2 times 5 equals 10 plus 2, which equals 12. So put the 2 right there. And make that 1. And it makes 1,225.
Excellent, Alexander. You are so good at this multiplication with regrouping. Great job.
I've been practicing my math cards pretty much every day, so I'm getting better.
Oh, that is so, so great. That makes a huge difference, practicing those math facts. I'm proud of you, Alexander.
Thank you.
Okay, so in an answer sentence for this one could be something like, the carnival sold 1,225 apples in 5 days. Something like that. Okay, now for your work today, this is our last day of really reviewing things before the test. You do have a Chapter 7 test tomorrow. So I have a couple of review pages for you to do. These are very similar to the types of questions you'll see on the test. So pages 144 to 146 in your workbook is what you'll do for review. We've got ones like this, 10 times 700. We just multiply 10 times 7 and then add those extra zeros. Okay. With some mental math as well. It's going to walk you through those. Show your work down here. You've got a little box to have your numbers stacked. Remember that we always put the bigger number on top, just like this. And then we've got more word problems. Please do write some bar models. Try your best on these. Remember that for bar models, you only have to label one group because in multiplication, we always have equal groups. So in this one, Cheryl completes 42 pages of math exercises if there are 4 on each page. We just have a bar model with 4 different groups. Each one has 42. We only have to label it once. It should be a pretty quick process, boys and girls, of doing this because we only have to label it once. And all of these are going to be part whole like this with just how many groups are there. Multiply that by this number. So 42 times 4 is the setup for this first problem. Okay, so do that with the next 2 problems as well. And even more on the back for practice. Try to get through all of these if you can. This is really good practice for the test tomorrow. Okay, I know that's quite a few word problems, but hopefully you're getting faster and faster with these. That is all for math. In science today, you've got some notes to take on yesterday's lesson on the changes that animals make as they adapt to their environment. So I've got a video. Miss Campbell is going to walk you through some notes for today. In history, 2 different things to do. We are going to be doing a test on Thursday for ancient Rome. So today you've got a study guide to complete. And if you want, you can immediately start going over the answers to the study guide when you finish. It's not due until tomorrow. That's tomorrow's activity, but you could get a head start on it today if you want. And you can even get a head start and finish all of your history today if you wanted to, and do the test if you're feeling like, oh, this study guide was easy. I'm just ready to take the test. There are some questions over the entire ancient Rome unit, all the way back to the founding brothers. Who remembers the brothers who started ancient Rome according to legend? Aya?
Romulus and Remus.
That's right. We're going all the way back to Romulus and Remus. We're going to be reviewing main concepts from all of the chapters that we've done so far. Going back to the Colosseum, to Julius Caesar, hearing about Augustus Caesar as well and all of his contributions. So we're going to be reviewing the entire ancient Rome unit, going into the government. It's been a while since we've talked about the Senate and about their roads and bridges. So it's going to be basically the main ideas from the whole book to wrap it all up. In literature, you've got a new chapter of Princess and the Goblin that's posted in Bright Thinker. And nothing from well-ordered language. And in math, you've got your workbook pages. Okay, that is all for today. Tomorrow we'll have a little bit more time, I hope, to talk about some of the things you're doing for science and history. I am going to have us get started on our reading groups at this point, though. Does anybody else have questions about things that are on Bright Thinker for today? Alexander?
I was saying no. I'll give you a thumbs down.
Good to know. So Dikshita, Aryansh, and Arshab and Alina, please stay with me for reading groups. I'll talk to everybody else tomorrow.
Bye. Bye, Miss Gardner.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you for Dikshita's party. 5:30.
Me! Mama, if I could come.
Good. Okay, I'll see everybody else tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, Miss Gardner.
Let's see.
Bye, Emma. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Whose birthday is coming up next?
Oh, after Dikshita's, the next birthday, I think, is Arshav's.
So nice.
Or, yeah, because his is the following week.
Awesome.
Isn't it next Tuesday, Arshav?
What?
I thought yours was next week. Oh, yeah, I think that's next Tuesday, exactly 7 days from now.
You can email me and Gmail and the new chat I made called A Beautiful Friendship. I actually made that room yesterday.